Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the final of the Ford Fund Smart Mobility Challenge. Do you have an idea that we will create the smart connected communities, making people's lives better by shaping the way they move within their urban communities, or by empowering them as individuals and citizens, or by enabling goods to move easily and safely, or by providing access to essential resources, promoting connectivity, energy efficient living, and hence health and a sustainable environment? These were the questions posed by Ford Fund in order to launch a contest addressed to students in our university. With this in mind, we, la Universidad de Valencia, sent an invitation to our students. Use your imagination to generate new ideas that could help our society to make our cities smart and more sustainable places to live. In this edition, 36 students have participated in this venture, 17 women and 19 men from 5 different fields of knowledge. During the first phase of the program, they received specific training in entrepreneurship, surely a very valuable asset in their future careers. 12 students have reached the second phase and will present their projects today in front of a jury composed by Deborah Channels, Ford Motor Company Fund Manager, Ford Viewer, Lola Garzón, Associate Professors of the Economics Faculty of the Universidad de Valencia, Eva Muchuri, Internal and Corporate Communications in Ford Motor Company, Marta Lerter, Technical Staff of the University of Valencia, and myself, Rosa Donat, Vice Chancellor for Innovation and Transfer at the Universidad de Valencia. The Smart Mobility Challenge competition is a joint venture of the Universidad de Valencia and the Ford Fund, a non-profit corporative foundation with whom we share the very important goal of improving people's lives within smarter and more sustainable communities. Representing the foundation, we have with us Deborah Channels, Ford Fund Manager in Europe, who now has the floor. Please, Debbie.
So hi everybody, I'm absolutely delighted to be here in person this time today to meet you all. As everybody said, my name is Deborah Channels, or most people call me Debbie. I've worked for the Ford Fund now for around 6 years.
This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, sorry, no problem. And people often ask me, so what is the Ford Fund? And I have to explain that Ford Motor Company set up this charitable arm over 70 years ago now. And we work with non-profit partners, we work with university partners, and we work with community organisations. And we do different programmes. We either do essential service programmes, or educational programmes, or even social entrepreneurship. And this is part of that as well. So Ford Fund's Mobility Challenge is one of our education initiatives, and we're absolutely delighted to work with the University of Valencia on this programme. And so, yes, as you all know, we sort of set you the challenge to come up with a sustainable urban mobility solution that would address a community need. And I have to say, thank you so much for participating in this competition. I appreciate that life has been slightly strange over the last 2.5 years with COVID. And you get used to seeing people on a little screen, and it makes teamwork more tricky. But I have been very impressed because I got to see your diaries of innovation and your project overviews, and I can see the hard work that's gone into it and the teamwork. So I'm really excited to listen to the presentations today, and I hope you have fun. Yeah. So don't worry, don't be nervous about presenting. I'm very grateful you're doing it in English, so glad. Yeah. But no, congratulations for taking part. I really appreciate being here with you.
And now the learners want to take the floor to present the teams.
Yeah, now is the time for you to make the presentations. So, the first one to present will be Unimo. Sorry. Thank you very much. Laura Fernández, Rocío de la Estrada, Laura Llano Nuévanos, and Carla Soler González. Sí.
So, hello everyone, my name is Laura Iranta and this is my colleague Laura Valverde, and we will be presenting today our business idea called Unimo. So, quick summary, what is Unimo? Unimo is an app that connects university students that live in the outskirts of the city so they can share a car to go to university, saving time and also saving travel costs. We, all our group, are students at the University of Valencia, but we do not live in the city, we live in the outskirts. So we struggle with this problem every day. If you want to go to university with public transport, it takes ages, and also not every town is well connected, so you don't have always the option. And if you want to use your own car and you want to go alone, it's super expensive, and also not everyone has access to a car. We are students, so we have to take that into consideration. There are some current possible solutions to this problem, but they don't solve all the issues. First of all, we have another app called BlaBlaCar. You probably heard about it. It's another carpooling app, but this one doesn't fulfill our needs because it's usually used for more longer journeys. You wouldn't find usually trips of less than 30 kilometers, and that's what we are focusing on. So we don't really use that. Then we know that there are some informal arrangements through WhatsApp groups. People in their small towns get a WhatsApp group all together, but these also have issues. It's difficult to organize. Also, not every town has its own WhatsApp group. And also, in WhatsApp groups, you have a limited capacity of people that can get in, so not everyone is able to join. Finally, we already talked a little bit about public transport. It takes a long time, it's not well connected, and it's not really useful. So what is our value proposal? We divided this into two sides, obviously. First, the passengers, we will provide for them a 50% on average reduction in commuting time to university at a similar cost to public transport. And then we obviously need drivers that want to drive other people also as well as themselves. And that drive costs a lot of money, especially now. So we did some research and we think that on average 81.6% reduction in travel costs is possible. So that's a huge advantage for them also. How does our app work? So when you open the app, you will see something like this. You just log in as another social network, your username, Gmail, email, password, and then when you enter, you should see something like this. This is a profile that someone called Elena Then she want to use our app. She will select the day that she want to use it, select the town she want to start, the departure town, and then a screen like this should pop up where you can see all the drivers that offer a spot in their car. You can see the town that they live in, from where they live in, their destination, and there's not that many universities in Valencia, so it's quite located. Then, if you click on any of the profiles, you can see a booking place, and you click, you can book a spot with them, you can also chat with them, and it's really important for us that drivers and passengers have reviews of their experience. So when you finish your ride, you can review the other person, and you can also see the reviews. It's safer. Finally, I wanted to talk about some of our benefits. We already talked about it's that cost-saving method for drivers, and it costs and saving time for passengers. But also, we offer a fixed price per kilometer. So every person that uses our app knows for sure how much the ride would cost. And we will also offer discounts on refueling for our drivers, because we know it's a hard situation, a difficult situation, so we will help with that. We also think that our app is an environmentally friendly option, because instead of using 4 cars to go to university, you could be just using 1 car with 4 people in it. Finally, 2 other stuff that I wanted to mention is that we also think of it as a possibility of a huge social network, because in the end you will be with people around your same age going to your university and living in your same town. So that could be a way of forming friendship or meeting interesting people. Finally, we will also offer some insurance for rides. So if anyone has any problem, we will be with them and help them with everything that we can. And now my colleague Laura will continue our presentation.
Okay, we've already seen how our app would look like from the user's point of view, but if we were to explain the functioning of the business model itself, we could say that Unimo is a platform connecting drivers with passengers. Our app provides drivers with users that are interested in the car routes the driver wants to perform. Therefore, the driver is the one performing the service to the customer, and the passenger, in return for the service offered, pays a fixed price of 6 cents per kilometer, all through our app. This money is then fully reimbursed to the driver, with the exception of a 15% commission fee that Unimo keeps, and this commission fee is around 1 cent per kilometer. So, in the end, the driver receives 5 cents per kilometer. Our target audience is really specific, and we focus on university students within age ranges between 18 and 24 that don't live in the cities where their university is. They live in surrounding cities or towns, and therefore need to commute to attend classes on a daily basis. So we intend to position Unimo in the main university centers of the country in a progressive way. During our first year, we would start our operations in the area we are most familiar with, in the Valencian community. Then, once we are established here, we would move to Madrid, then jump to Barcelona, then move to Salamanca, Zaragoza, and by the end of the 5th year, we would like to have gained access to Granada and Sevilla as well. In terms of market size, we've estimated that in Spain, the number of students that don't live in the city where their university is, that don't own a vehicle and that could be interested in our product, are 170,000 students. If we focus only on the cities I mentioned before, the number raises to 62,200 students. But being realistic and taking into account that not everybody is going to use our app, we've estimated that Unimo would address 7,200 students. Here is a graph of the market evolution. As I've said, we are planning on introducing each year to a new city, and also to strengthen our position in the markets we are already operating with. We can see the growing tendency, and by the end of the 5th year, we would have reached 7,295 students. In terms of expense allocation, most of our budget would go to marketing, as our efforts would be focused on giving promotion to our app through social media, attending fairs, going to exhibitions, and so on. This is our forecast of our revenue and expense evolution throughout the 5-year period. Here I would like to highlight the fact that since year 1, our revenue figure is larger than the expense one, and this continues to grow until year 5, where our revenue would be around 590,000 euros. Here is a snapshot of our finances. Again, I want to highlight the fact that since day 1 we are profitable, we are reporting positive numbers, and that by the end of year 5, we are reporting a profit margin of 47%, meaning that our project is viable and solid. Here is our team, which now you can see in the flesh. Rocío, Laura, Carla, and me. We are all business students that having suffered firsthand the struggle of attending to class, having to commute every day due to the lack of connectivity of public transport, or sometimes because public transport is not as fast or as flexible in schedule as one would desire it to be. Wanted to offer a solution to a problem that is currently impacting many students. So, finally, we wanted to thank Unión, one of the students' associations in the university, for backing up our project, and thank you very much for your attention. We hope you enjoyed our presentation, and feel free to ask any questions. Thank you.
I was only just going to ask a question actually about the app development. So is this area within the university able to help you with the tech element, or do you have?
So we actually we're actually thinking about a few different solutions, because first of all we thought maybe all the students with the same issue want to maybe join in with the part that we are lacking on with all the IT part. That's one of the possible solutions. And because we wanted to be really conservative about all our expenses, we actually budgeted a large part of our expenses as just app development using another company directly. So we are taking that into consideration. I think the university can actually help us if we just get some promotion, maybe someone want to join or something that we are focusing on, but we have to
Simply, because in a way you don't have to overcomplicate the
Yeah.
idea.
We wanted to be really simple.
user friendly, yeah, obviously super user friendly.
Right, just wanted to say congratulations, because you did a great job. We can see the effort, and well, I also have the information from the teachers, and they say that you have really worked well on the programs.
Thank you.
So thank you very much.
We really enjoyed it.
Oh, that's great. So thanks for the explication and the involvement, and now we can see the results. So congratulations.
Thank you. Okay.
So now it's turn for Stop Trash, case number 2, with Claudia Manuel Puente, Nicolás William Ramfeld Hyde, and Pierre Reina Prado.
Well, good morning everyone. We are Claudia Maria del Puente, Nicolás William Hyde, and Pierre Ferreira Prado, which is going to follow us our presentation through internet because he's in Brazil. So our startup, Stop Trash, illustrates the way to save both the planet and your wallet. First of all, I would like to say that recycling is a process of the collection, between the collection and the processing of materials which otherwise would be thrown to the trash, and it returns these materials to be used for products. Recycling is beneficial both for the environment and for the community. According to the United States Environmental Protection, there are studies that show that only 32.1% of the population recycles. When we make a pull-up, the majority of the people consider that they recycle, but studies show that this is not correct throughout the world. So our business is based on the recycling of plastic bottles and uses economic reward to encourage the citizens to recycle. So pollution. Pollution is the introduction of harmful materials to the environment. These harmful materials are pollutants. How important can pollution be? Well, to the extent that the rate of deaths in neonatal is greater than the rate of deaths by HIV, malaria, and tuberculosis altogether. So it is a really important issue nowadays. We based our presentation on the Sustainable Development Goals, which are 17. We based our presentation on the Sustainable Development Goal number 3, number 11, 13, 14, and 17, which are based on the caring of the human health, on the sustainable transport, and also on the caring of the environment. We based our idea on the known as fund in Germany, because we knew that in Germany already exists some machines where you introduce a bottle and you are rewarded with money, both in supermarkets and along the streets. However, we did not know that this already exists in Valencia. We did not know it, but it exists. It is called Reciclos. However, we made a survey through Google Forms where we asked our community, do you know what Reciclos is? And we found out that only 33.3% of the population knew that this exists in Valencia. So we had to find the drawbacks of this idea. Why isn't Reciclos working here in Valencia? Well, we find two answers to this question. The first one is because you need a mobile phone because it works through an app. Well, not everyone has a mobile phone nowadays. Because, for example, old people do not use a phone, or people cannot afford a phone, or even children do not use a phone today, not really young people. So this limits the users to a limited population. Therefore, we found out an idea. And what about a physical card, where the money is rewarded in this card, and you have a physical way to use it. Well, the second thing we found out was the location of these machines. There are only 4 machines in Valencia, having in mind all the population in Valencia. Okay, first of all, they are located in Mercado Central, Mercado de Cabañal, Mercado del Solé, and in another market. No, I don't remember another market in Valencia. Okay, the point is that there are 4 machines for Valencia. It is a really, when we did the studies, we know that each machine is 30,000 euros. It is a lot, but if we want to achieve the target of the population, we cannot only use 4 machines. Therefore, our solution. Well, our solution was using the model in Germany, because we also found that some citizens gave feedback to Reciclos, and they said the QR code, when I'm going to scan it doesn't work through the phone. So what about if we use the machine directly detects the code instead of you with your phone? In Germany, it functions. So what about here? Trying this here. Also, we found if we could locate it in places like universities where there are the students. For example, one in the campus of Bupasot, another one in campus of Franje, another one in Las Ulandia. Also, in Germany, there are the supermarkets. We could locate them in the supermarket, at the outside of the supermarket, or even in the street when they go to the metro station. A machine at the side, because if this money is going to be used in the card only for Metro Valencia, Valencia, and EMT Valencia, which is for the buses, you're going to get your card and directly you can go to your metro station. So it is a really good idea. Okay, our budget proposal, as we already said, only 32.1% of the population recycle. We made also a pool. We also ask the population, what about if you throw a bottle to the ground and they tell you, if you bend down and you get it up and you pick it up, I give you money, I give you a reward. Would you pick it up? The 100% of the people we asked said, I will pick it up. So when you throw it. Okay, our solutions, as we have said, our solutions. Number one, the physical part, because it targets all of our population. Number two, the location of the machines. And number three, we also found feedback from the population who said, if they only give us in Valencia 1 cent for the bottle, for 1 cent, I am not going to throw it. Well, depending on the people, 1 cent is 1 cent. But anyway, okay, we suppose that this, instead of 1 cent, we made a market study, and we saw how much we can gain from this and how much we can give back. So, the value proposal encourage recycling using public transport as a reward. Business size. Okay, in Valencia we are 791,000 people, around 800,000 people. Okay, imagine that each person only 1 bottle per day is going to the bin. Okay, at the end of the year, 365 bottles. But 365 bottles, assuming all of them will throw one of the bottles, it is 292 million bottles per day. A lot of bottles per year. So assume the first year, only 3% of the population use the machines because they don't know it, because they don't find it useful still, until each year more people is going to use it, hopefully. Okay, so the market evolution will be the first year only 3%, but in the second year 5%, and in the third year 7%. Okay, now we have also to have in mind that what you spend in the machine, that there are 30,000 euros per machine, you're going to spend it the first year, but the second year you don't have to spend more money in the machine. Only in the maintenance, obviously, on how much you're going to spend on marketing and on the people which is working on them, which are going to maintain them, and so on. So, users, the market map, what I explained before, we're going to take all of the citizens in Valencia of all ages in a business-to-business model. So, our conclusion: the implementation of 30 bottles recycling machines in Valencia will be rewarded with the incentive of the money for public transport. This has two very important ideas. The first one is that we decrease the rate of pollution in Valencia. And the second one, we encourage people to use the public transport in Valencia. Finances. So, according to our studies, what we saw is that the first year we gained 38,000 euros, and finally by the third year, 922,000 euros. Okay. Also, having in mind that each time more people is going to use the machines. The roadmap. At first, we will use it in the city of Valencia, as I said, in the university campus, also in the supermarkets. Second year, we go farther. We say, instead of the center of Valencia only, we say, for example, Mislata, which is a little bit more far away. The third year, Sagunto, will fall a little bit far lower. And then next year, we're going to go to Bullera. This time, I will have to see if this is going to work, because we're going to put 30,000 machines in Bullera, and we don't know if in Valencia they work. And we are Nicolas William Hyde, myself, and Pierre. And we based our 5 ideas in the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Thank you.
Question? I've got that was a brilliant presentation, well done. My question actually is, there's obviously a very clear benefit to the people who would recycle in the end, I guess, in the public transportation. But also maybe you could think about some kind of benefit for the places that may invest in the machines, because it may be that if it's in a supermarket that the money could be used for loyalty to buy goods, so that there's something in it to encourage companies, or even where you get your bus from or your tram from, to actually put one of these recycling machines, because that's going to be the thing that you need to encourage people to actually say, okay, we'll join you and we'll put the machine, because it's a one-off cost, and maybe if you can prove that there's something in it for them, you might get people to actually commit without you having to put all the money into the machines. That was just...
I have a question too, because we have already that plan. I think 2 years ago we started in our plant in Antisafe 6 machines like that. So after you need a big investment for install the machines, and I think you don't tell us which is the cost of each machine.
Yes,
Yeah,
30,000 per machine.
30,000.
30,000.
Okay, so
I have a question. The machines you're talking about, how do they work? Do they work via an app?
no, it works. It's really easy. The employees they put water in the machine, and then they have we have a vending company, and you put your coffee card, and then the scent is going to your coffee card, and then you can use it for coffee or whatever, sandwich or whatever you want. So the first issue that we saw is the investment, the investment, and the second one is the kind of plastic. It's not really easy. Plastic bottles are different. Did you study what you are going to do with this plastic, and which company is going to recycle and how? I didn't see the presentation.
Okay, first of all, we studied the market in Germany, and we saw which is the price of each bottle, because in Germany they have like 2 cents if it is this bottle, 3 cents if it is this bottle. So we just have in our diary that we send how much is each of the little bottles or the can, or they are, we have the list and we study the list. In relation to the other question was,
What will you do with the plastic?
Yes, we studied that there are certain business, for example, we know that Ford uses a plastic that we recycle for pieces of the cars, for example, to
3D printers.
No.
So basically, there's companies that offer the plastic. So obviously Ford doesn't get the plastic themselves, they contract another business, and the business supplies the plastic. So basically our business to business model is to supply the plastic to these businesses, which is in our diary, the list of companies that would be willing to buy this plastic, and then they supply with obviously their fee to Ford and other obviously other motor companies and other companies interested in using this plastic. And the advantage of doing it this way is, instead of Reciclos, which does it via an app, the thing about using a card and using it in strategical places is that we can manage to put more machines in more places than them so far with low investment, because by using it with a card it's much more cheaper. Each machine is 30k, whereas Reciclos I think was 45, probably going on to 50. So just by the price difference and the usability, we could implement them in many more places in a shorter amount of time, which is why we do it this way. Taking into consideration using a phone has its disadvantages, such as, obviously like Claudia said, not everybody uses phones. Sometimes you might not have signal, sometimes you might not have enough battery, and just by having a card like the Metro fare, it's so much easier, and actually, to our advantage, the system is much more cheaper, because the way you communicate with a card isn't the same way you communicate with a phone, if that makes sense. So,
I was also going to say, because you're looking at public transport, there'll be something in it for the city of Valencia, because presumably the city of Valencia is trying to eliminate trash and rubbish. So, it would be worth actually talking to somebody about it, because I think it's
It wouldn't be the first time, as everybody here knows, the Metro in Valencia is free on Sundays, so they really are trying to encourage people to use public transport, and having some this kind of link between recycling and using public transport could really benefit the metro system here, which so far is still trying to get those users in. For example, on Sundays, it's just, okay, it's one day of the week, it's really trying to attract people, but it just needs that extra, I think, budge towards the right direction for it to work. And this is why we came up with our idea. Thank you.
So next team is number 3, the Adriano, with the Martín Romero Valero and Daniel Martín. Sorry.
Good morning, my name is Miguel and I'm the CEO of Atrium. Have you ever bought a second-hand product on any platform? Because I bought an electric scooter for my brother to go to college, and a week later it was broken. I tried to find a claim with the seller in the profile no longer existed. We were without a scooter and without money. Then I looked for a second-hand scooter, but they were only sold in cell phone stores, and they did not give me much confidence because they are not specialists.
When there is a potential buyer, we pick it.
That's why Atrium was created, because there is a need for specialists in the purchase and sale of second-hand electric scooter. There are 25 in guarantee. So, what does Atrium do? You better watch it.
When there is a potential buyer, we pick up the scooter at the home of the person who wants to sell it. We take it to the workshop, where more than 50 key points are reviewed to achieve our official certification. Finally, we take the electric scooter to its new owner's house, who will be able to enjoy a second-hand scooter with all the guarantees and with the official Atrium certification.
Our website, atrium.com. Right now, we have 50,000 visits and more than 50 electric scooters with this web. We will create an application to automate the progress improve in the user experience. We want you to see the first prototype of our app in brief explanation of how to use it.
The Atrium app will be very simple. You will be able to create your account quickly with Google, Facebook, or with a mobile phone. The user will be able to choose between different types of electric vehicles. It will also be possible to access a wide catalog of all the means of transport that we have available and certified on our website. Atrium wants to become the largest platform for buying and selling certified and warranted second-hand electric vehicles. Each person who wants to sell in Atrium must upload photographs and explain the details of the product. With a single click, it will be possible to publish
some figures. 29% of people will buy environmentally conscious brands like Atrium. The demand of second-hand electric scooter has grown by 142% and continues to rise. Also, in Spain, we know that the average price of this vehicle is 300 euros. We know all this information thanks to CTLM and Idealo that is the student. We offer a certification to give that confidence that everyone needs when buying a second-hand vehicle and a guarantee of up to 1 year to avoid scams. We will be able to avoid thousands of tons of carbon dioxide by offering a second life to these electric vehicles, and we live in the circular economy. reduce, reuse, and recycle. Our worldwide market cited 2 billion euros. In Spain, with the size is 500 million euros. Market evolution. 1 in 4 Spanish citizens want to buy an electric scooter. 47% cited the most important factor in the price. 61% would consider buying second-hand scooter. More than 200,000 people buy a scooter every year. How is a business model? We get 20% of its sales. Thanks to our premium services, we have managed to build customer loyalty with an extended guarantee that costs only 50 euros per year. Thanks to our database, we know that the people like Martha and Luis are our buyer person. They are between 17 and 14 years old. They are studying or working. They travel between 10 and 15 kilometers a day in the city centers. They are convinced that with Atrium they are helping the planet by giving scooter a second life. We have competition, yes, but we know that they are not specialists because they sell many other products. In addition, there is no guarantee in the sale between individuals. Atrium is a specialist and offers a guarantee. Let's make sure that nobody is safe to buy your second-hand electric bike. With an injection of 12,500 euros, we are going to buy the reference in Spain in the buying and selling of second-hand electric scooters, and we are going to start by developing our app. We want to sell more than 150,000 units in 18 months. This is our goal. We were born in Valencia, in startups, and we have achieved more than 50 sales with a turnover of 7,000 euros, with an initial investment of only 500 euros. We are currently consolidating our brand with digital marketing campaigns. In the middle of this year, we will have our app to automate the entire buying and selling process. In 2023, we will expand to the French and Portuguese market, and we will start with the purchase and sale of electric motorcycle and electric cars. We have the support of Saudi, who have at the technical service and national levels in depth. They have more than 25 stores in Spain, Uber, Nivo, GDD Mobility, and Startups. We want to help the planet, building a new electric scooter policy with the use of this material. So, extending the life of the scooter will prevent new carbon dioxide emission into the atmosphere. The use of electric scooter can save for 44,000 tons of carbon dioxide per year, according to a Move Electric study conducted in the United Kingdom. My team, Dario Martinez, telecommunication engineer with experience working for Vodafone and Telefonica. He is the chair of the logistic and financial part of Atrium. Fernando Alvadín, communication and marketing specialist with more than 20 years of experience in the media, political parties, and public and private companies. I am a telecommunication engineer. I am passionate about everything that has to do with scooter, motorcycle, and motors. Let's make everything move on its well if possible. Are you ready to join the new sustainable electric mobility? Sorry, mate.
No, it's very good. Could you just explain a little bit more about the certification process? So what do you do that's sort of different from what other companies like? I know you said that nobody else is doing certification, but how have you formulated what needs to be checked and everything?
Okay. Well, as Miguel has explained before, we're currently working with a lot of companies that sells these scooters, electric scooters. And what we do is that when we detect that there is a possible buy, a person is interested in buying one electric scooter, we get the scooter to this shop, and they are the specialists that manage and that made for us, a complete document supervising more than 50 items for each electric vehicle, and they give us, paying like 5 euros per scooter, per electric scooter. They give us the quality and the complete state of the electric scooter. So that's how we are doing it right now with Subway in this case. They are specialists. They have a physical shop here in Valencia and in other cities. And logistically talking, that allow us and will allow us to continue growing because of that. Because we don't need to be present in other cities. We have this company that are present for us and that can talk with the person that wants to buy an electric scooter directly.
And a very simple question. The name.
Yeah. Atramove.
What's behind the name?
Well, that's a funny question because and when Miguel started the company in startups, that was the name that was given. So we adopted it without proper excuses, and we have made it. We have made it as
And so, if I understood your presentation correctly, you've already started and you've already done a number of second-hand scooter sales.
Yeah. We have more than 50 people that has bought an electric scooter. With the money, if we can continue growing, we will automatize the entire product because right now this is a little bit manual. I mean, when we detect that there is a potential buyer, we don't have the electric scooter that you have seen, but what we do is in less than 7 days, look for that scooter that someone wants to buy, because there are a lot of scooters that are stocked in houses of private people, and we know we give that scooter a second life because it's not working. It's not working. Someone that does not need it, or they want to buy another one, and what we do is put it in the market again and give a person that is looking for a second bike product, a second electric scooter product, to give that chance. And knowing that it is certified by experts, Subway in this case, and spending less money, and we have to plan it too, because you don't have to buy a new electric scooter. It's something that is starting right now. There are a lot of people that would have bought a second-hand car, but it's not as usual with the scooter because it's a business that is starting right now. And we think that there are a lot of there's a path and a long journey that is starting right now. Questions?
And now the last group is Taximi, with Tierra Fianesco, and Guillermo from Miami.
And myself. Today I'm going to talk about Taximi 2, our startup idea that aims to solve point 3 and 6 of the challenges set out in the competition. First of all, let me ask you a question referring to these 3 images. What do these situations have in common? When leaving festivals, stadiums, or the airport, there are many people going to the same place and even going at the same time and even to the same place without even knowing it. And these are our potential customers. Taximi 2 are going to put these people together so they can share taxis and on top of it, save money, reduce CO2 emissions, and share an experience together. This was our initial idea, and that's why we went to the Ford Fund competition, being excited about being boosted and making this idea real. In Valencia, there are currently different transport services, as you can see on the screen. We have conducted a survey for young people living in Valencia, and 57% state that they cannot reach every place with public transport. 87% state that they do not take taxis because it's too expensive. That's why we have identified that the current transport services do not cover all the needs. Therefore, we developed Taxi2. Our slogan, Save Money, Reduce CO2 Emissions, and Share Our Experience, explains perfectly what impact Taxi2 wants to have in society, and its added value. First, safety. Every person, every user in Taxi2 is going to be evaluated by the others, and therefore we can ensure a good behavior. Secondly, the area covered. Taxis can reach every place in the city. Thirdly, sustainability. Taxi2 wants to promote a shift in mobility culture towards a shared and sustainable mobility. Fourth, the time. Sometimes using the public transport, as I did before or explained, is a waste of time, and you have to spend 1 hour for a 15-minute trip by taxi. Next, 45-hour service. Taxis work per day and at night. Next, flexibility. Taxis don't have a fixed schedule, and you can call a taxi whenever you want to. Next, and the most important, the costs. Not the whole population can afford a taxi on a regular basis. We could say that the vast minimum proportion of the population can really afford a taxi normally. And last, the comfort. Taxis are more comfortable than buses, undergrounds, or other public services. Above all, if you are wearing bags or you are tired. That's why we developed our vision, to see no single taxi with one single user. But how to make this idea happen? First of all, we entered the Ford competition. And secondly, we established our roadmap with the different steps that we have to be taking till the project is done. First, we develop the idea. And secondly, we validate the technical and financial feasibility. We developed a prototype, and we were in contact with different computer scientists, which told us that our application could be done. This is how the application looks like, and shortly it functions as follows. You have to download the application per App Store or Play Store to search for taximers near you, for passengers. When you choose your origin and your destination, you can also choose your fellow partners according to their profile. After choosing the partners you want to have, you also have to pay €1 to the application, to the service of Taxi2. Once the journey is done, you can evaluate the other passengers and the application. And you have obviously to pay for your corresponding part of the taxi with your partners. Now, the technical feasibility is validated. Later on, we validated the financial feasibility. First, we established the initial investment, €25,000 for the marketing and the app development. Secondly, we established or we estimated the yearly costs of the application and the revenue we need to cover all these costs and the initial investment. We have estimated that the payback is under 18 months, more or less. The next step is to elaborate the marketing campaigns. The marketing is very important for our startup, as it is only operational if many people are using the application. And we don't want other bigger companies to steal our idea that is kind of simple to make it happen. First, we analyzed our customers, young people between 14 and 34 years old. In Valencia, they make up more or less 500,000 people, potential customers, and that's where we initially want to begin. Secondly, in Madrid, Barcelona, Zaragoza, and Málaga, there are 4,700,000 potential customers. These are the cities where we want to expand next. And at last, in Spain, there are 11 million potential customers. But how do we grow initially in Valencia, as it is so important? Because one thing is clear, we have to achieve very fast the critical mass of customers to make the application operational, as I said before. That is how Valencia should look like. Now we're at this point. We are searching for financial support. The next step is to create the application and to validate it between other people to see feedbacks and improvements. Next, we will launch the application in the market, in App Store and Play Store. At this point, we will implement the marketing campaigns already designed on the site, as you could see. And last, we would extrapolate to other cities, namely Madrid, Barcelona, Málaga, and Zaragoza. Last, I would like to introduce my team, formed by Guillermo Trons, who couldn't be here because he has a driver's license exam, and myself. Thank you very much for your time, and let's take reviews and share what taxi do.
So in terms of the app, just to check if I understand it correctly, you're not getting involved in any of the financial stuff, though, are you? You're just leaving that to the people in a taxi to get to it.
Yes, because it was very difficult to really make taxis want to collaborate with us. Overall, because of this conflict between Cabify, Uber, and the real taxi service. So we don't want to be involved in it, and we just want to connect people.
I know obviously you're trying to encourage more people to get a taxi together, so I don't know whether you've talked to any of the taxi operators, but people take a taxi, maybe put their adverts in a taxi as well.
It's complicated to make the taxis place to understand it, so that we just leave it, and maybe in the future we can collaborate with taxi if we reach a large number of users.
Okay, thank you very much.
How is the payment done? Through the app? Or?
Yes, you have to pay per trip €1 to the application, to us, the service, and later on the people who take the taxi, they have to pay the taxi by themselves. The application will give the amount of money that each has to pay, but they have to pay it by themselves. We are not involved in it. They just pay it, you know, if per visum, per real money.
I think that this is a model that we all know from other companies, like Uber or these others, but it's not in the official taxis. So I don't think it would be very difficult to change people minds. But something I wanted to remark here is that this is not exactly how the project began, and they have pivoted on the training program, which is also something to consider. So congratulations, I really like the presentation.
You're all invited to go on